Mazda is taking a big swing at the premium crossover segment with this first ever CX-70. But will it be enough? What's up, folks? I'm Dave Undercoffler, editor-in-chief of Autolist.com, a sister company to CarGurus. This CX-70 is a new addition to Mazda's lineup, slotting above the popular CX-5 and CX-50 and below the three-row CX-90. And while it may look identical to the 90 and it's the same size, this 70 packs one key difference. It only has 2 rows of seats. It also offers one of 2 different turbocharged engines or a plug-in hybrid setup, and it starts at about $42,000. So is all that going to be enough to top rivals like the Lexus RX, Jeep Grand Cherokee, and Volkswagen Atlas? Let's go spend some time with this 70 and find out. But before we do, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel so you can get alerts on all of our future updates. All right, let's start with a walk around of the exterior of this CX-70. The color we're testing right now is called Melting Copper Metallic. I think it's a great color. I also like that name. This is another $450 on top of the base price. So everything you see here for this fully loaded plug-in hybrid version is about $60,000, including destination. This is as nice as it gets. But the nice thing is, from the outside, most of the CX-70s are gonna look the same to one another. They're also identical to the CX-90. Same wheelbase, same dimensions overall. But I really like the front, what they've done here. You've got an LED lamp integrated here, and then that flows into the headlights. Nice big grille. It's a bold luxury look, but without being too weird. All right, moving to the side, the first thing you're gonna notice are these rims. These are 21-inch alloy wheels that we have on our tester. I also like that they're not black. I think black rims really make a car look kind of cheap. This is a nice, luxurious look on the CX-70, so that's pretty cool. Then on the fender, you've got some PHEV badging showing you that it's a plug-in hybrid. I also like that there's black trim here on the door handles. You've got some on the mirror caps and then on these roof rails running to the back of the vehicle. Finally, at the back, I really like the styling back here. It's reminiscent of a BMW. You definitely get the sense that this is a premium vehicle. I also like you've got LED taillights right there and some more Skyactiv badging down below. All right, let's talk powertrains. There are 2 different versions of the turbo engine available in the CX-70. It's actually the same engine. They've just been tuned for different outputs. That engine is a 3.3-liter turbocharged inline-6 paired with a 48-volt mild hybrid system. On base models, it makes 280 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque. On the Turbo S that we have here, it makes 340 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. No matter which version you choose, they all come with an 8-speed automatic transmission and full-time all-wheel drive. And then there's this plug-in hybrid version. This has a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine paired with an electric motor that's powered by a 17.8 kilowatt-hour battery. Together, they make 323 total horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. Like its gas brethren, this has an 8-speed automatic transmission and full-time all-wheel drive. This setup is rated by the EPA at 25 miles per gallon combined, and it has an all-electric range of 26 miles. All right, so you've got 3 different powertrains in this CX-70, but a big difference in price. Which would you guys choose, the base turbo, the Turbo S, or this plug-in? Be sure to let us know in the comments below. All right, now to the interior. And I know I said we're in a fully loaded plug-in version, so it has all the bells and whistles. But what I really like about this CX-70 is that all the things that make this cabin good, even on the loaded version, are standard on the base model that you can get for about $42,000. So that includes this screen. This is a 12.3-inch screen. It's actually a touch screen, even though it's kind of far away. But you can also control it by this rotary knob down below. It's a nice screen. It's very bright and crisp. I do wish there was a menu of buttons here on the side rather than when CarPlay takes up the entire screen. That's a little frustrating, but otherwise, pretty good system. As you can tell, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, that's standard on all trims. We also have wireless smartphone charging down below. Other standard goodies on all trims includes leather seats that are heated and power operated up front. I also really like the contrast stitching here on the dashboard, and the brushed metal trim really gives this Mazda a premium feel. And then our loaded tester also has some additional goodies on top of that. That includes ventilated seats up front. We also have a 12.3-inch digital display for the instrument panel, a heads-up display, and then a really large panoramic moonroof. Finally, I also want to point out these seats. These are nice, supportive, comfortable seats. Really could do a long road trip in the CX-70, and you're going to enjoy the seat no matter where you are in this vehicle. But it's not perfect. My main gripe is this shifter. In a lot of competitor vehicles that have an electronic shifter like this, all you do is push the button and pull it down to put it into gear. This one's a little counterintuitive. Instead, you've got to push the button and kind of move it over and then down into gear. It's just a few extra motions that get in the way when you're trying to turn around. Maybe you've got some kids screaming in the back. So that's one very small flaw. All right, now to second row space. And as I said earlier, this CX-70 is basically the same vehicle as the CX-90, which has 3 rows, but we only have 2. So you do have a lot of space in this second row. Another nice thing that carries over from the 90 is the fact that these seats slide fore and aft really easily. That gives you more cargo room if you want it. And if you have a car seat here that you want to get closer to the parents up front, that allows you to do that pretty easily. Otherwise, we've got a lot of space back here. Headroom is great. Plenty of room for my legs, my feet, my knees. I like that. The seats themselves are also very comfortable. As I mentioned earlier, we're in a fully loaded version, so we also have 3-stage heated seats for both of these outboard positions and our own climate control setup down below, plus a pair of USB-C charge ports. Finally, there are 2 more amenities back here that add just a little extra comfort. For one, you've got this sunshade here, keeps the sun off the little ones in case they want to take a nap. And if you want to take a nap, these seats recline. All right, now to cargo space. And if you're comparing the CX-90 to this CX-70 and wondering how they stack up in terms of cargo space behind this second row, it's basically a tie. There's a smidge more room in the CX-90, but nothing that's really going to add up. So that means that this CX-70 has 39.6 cubic feet of space back here. I will say the load floor is a little higher than you might expect, but otherwise plenty of useful space. These seats do fold down at just the push of a button. That's pretty cool. Unfortunately, they're not power operated, so they don't fold back up. You also have a pair of 120 volt household outlets on either side, and this one has 1500 watts of power. That's enough to power multiple TVs at once, maybe your average microwave or even a blender. All right, next up, driving impressions. And if you're trying to decide which CX-70 you should choose, whether it's the Turbo S or the plug-in hybrid, my money is on the plug-in hybrid. And yes, I know it actually has fewer horsepower. This has 323, but I just think it feels more powerful. It feels like it's using all of that power, and it's a more engaging drive. The nice thing about this plug-in setup is that you've got the gas engine and the electric motor working really well together to fill in any holes in acceleration that one might have versus the other. When you get in the Turbo S, there are some times where it feels like there's a little bit of turbo lag. So again, my money is on this plug-in version. Plus, the plug-in has the added benefit of being able to drive in electric-only mode, and that's pretty cool. Otherwise, the driving experience in the CX-70 really matches Mazda's luxury aspirations for this vehicle. You get in and everything feels high-end. The steering has a nice weight to it. The ride quality is very smooth and serene. There's no wind noise or road noise coming into the cabin. And all the materials, as I mentioned earlier, are really high-end. So it all adds up to this really premium experience that anyone coming out of an Acura or an Audi or a Lexus is really going to appreciate. And then there's the handling, and that's something Mazdas have always been known for. Yes, no one buys a crossover this large because of the handling, but the fact that this is one of the more engaging models in the entire segment, that's just a bonus. That's just icing on the cake. So you can have a very functional, comfortable vehicle, but also one that's actually pretty fun to drive. And then there's visibility. It's good, not great. As you saw in the exterior, this is a pretty sleek vehicle, which means when you get in it, visibility is going to be compromised a little bit. This A-pillar is a little thick, as is the B-pillar over my shoulder, and then rear visibility, again, not great, but also not a deal breaker. All right, now we're in the Turbo S, and as a reminder, this has 340 horsepower. That's actually a pretty good amount for the segment that this CX-70 is in. That's more than a lot of its rivals are gonna have. Now, that's on paper. In real world driving, it just doesn't feel like it has 340, and that's why I was saying I like the plug-in hybrid more from a driving perspective. It just feels like it's got more grunt to it. This, when you floor it, here, let's give it a little grunt. There's a little bit of turbo lag. The transmission takes a few seconds to shift, and then you get that power, but it's not that overwhelming amount of power that you might think when you hear 340 horsepower. So sure, if you're gonna go for the gas version, there's a lot to like about this engine. It's very smooth. It works really well with the transmission, but overall, my money's on the plug-in hybrid. All right, folks, there you have it. Our review of the 2025 Mazda CX-70. Pros, well, we really like how this looks and feels very much like an upscale premium vehicle. Plus, it comes in a variety of powertrain options, including a plug-in hybrid model. And there's the handling. This thing is actually fun to drive, and that's not something you hear every day for a vehicle in this segment. Cons? Well, there's that wonky shifter setup on the inside that we just don't love. And this can get expensive, up to nearly $60,000 for a fully loaded plug-in version. Finally, this is basically just the CX-90 without a third row of seats, so we're not sure why Mazda didn't just call it that. But overall, we are impressed with the CX-70 and the degree to which Mazda is stepping into luxury territory. So if you're familiar with Acura or Audi or Lexus, there's gonna be a lot in this CX-70 that you're gonna like. So for reviews or listings of this CX-70 or anything else you're shopping for, new or used, be sure to check out CarGurus.com. And before you go, like and subscribe to this channel so you can get alerts on all of our future updates. We'll see you out there.